Live from Fargo and serving you on TV, online, and on the go. This is Valley News Live 10 at 10.
One struggle after another, and it's hard enough, the way it is to fight for my life already. I mean, I'm working 8.5 hours a day with this machine just to stay alive.
A Crookston, Minnesota man is so upset at a government agency, he's willing to end his life if nothing's done. Thanks for joining us tonight. While battling the effects of diabetes, Reno Brandt is appealing the Minnesota Department of Human Services.
He's waiting for another organ transplant and says he can't get the help he needs. In fact, Brandt says it's so hard for him to live if nothing's done, he's asked a judge to let him enter hospice care and die. Valley News Team's Nicole Johnson has his story.
Even my friends, except my immediate close friends, don't know the struggle.
A house that comes with a posted notice.
A tube that goes in me, which I'm all hooked up to.
And inside, a dialysis patient with his own notice posted for friends.
Where's the dislike or hate button?
Extreme emotions followed what Reno Brandt is planning to do if worst comes to worst.
There was some people that were pretty upset.
It reads, "I have made a decision today in which will probably end up costing me my life."
A lot of them were taking it the wrong way too, because they thought that I was doing it because I was depressed, and that's not all the case.
He's letting his friends know he's asked a judge to let him enter hospice care for a planned date to die.
They didn't like the idea of it, but they understood what I was trying to do and accomplish.
Since this post on Facebook, Brandt says he's been to court multiple times. The judge didn't make a decision whether he will allow it. But the reason behind Brandt's controversial post goes beyond just himself. He had diabetes, leading to a pancreas transplant, and now he needs a new kidney.
One struggle after another, and it's hard enough, the way it is to fight for my life already. I mean, I'm working 8.5 hours a day with this machine just to stay alive.
Brandt is still working, but says his biggest struggle is getting ends to meet. He gets Medicare through the Department of Human Services, but he says there's too much red tape preventing him from getting the care he needs, like the electricity to run this machine or travel cost for medical needs. He's not the only one facing this problem.
An opportunity came across me that I had the opportunity to hopefully make a difference.
An online petition was created trying to help chronic kidney disease and dialysis patients better afford treatment costs.
And I know my method was a little extreme, but sometimes you need to be extreme in order to get attention to the problem.
While this post drew a lot of attention, Reno's goal is to get the attention of lawmakers, government officials, and others struggling to stand up. Nicole Johnson, Valley News Live.
Human Services departments in Otter Tail County and the state of Minnesota say they can't speak about specific cases. However, they sent us a statement detailing how they believe people like Brandt can get help through their departments. We have their full statement online on valleynewslive.com. Go there and click on the hot button.
Today, the U.S. State Department sent out a warning to travelers on the increased risk to Americans traveling this holiday season. The travel alert was issued because of increased terrorist threats overseas. It says terrorist groups like ISIL, Al-Qaeda, and Boko Haram, they're planning attacks at multiple regions. The alert advises American citizens who travel to avoid crowds and be vigilant in public places even before today's update. Airport officials across the United States were stressing awareness and security.
What we do tell people to do is remain very aware of your surroundings. And that is really the best advice for travelers. I know things can feel a little bit tense or a little bit different.
This travel alert does expire on February 24th of 2016. You can read the full story on valleynewslive.com. Click on this story.
A local man contacted our whistleblower hotline after his request was denied for an emotional support dog. Greg Holkesvig called our hotline in hopes that the Golden Living Center in Moorhead better defines its pet policy for those in need. Valley News Team's Christine Stanwood has our story.
What's its name?
I was going to call her Nellie.
Nellie? After what?
Naughty Nellie. Puppies always do naughty things.
Nellie was supposed to help Greg Holkesvig with his depression.
Just lucky to be alive and for me to actually be talking to you. That's, that's a miracle.
Holksevig was told from his doctors he wouldn't survive after having a brain aneurysm and hematoma.
Cut off the top of my head here, pretty much the left side.
Holksevig is still recovering from his medical procedures at Golden Living Center. He was originally told he could have Nellie.
My psychologist and my therapist both agreed that having a pet would be really, really good for me.
But shortly after his request, he was told no.
Well, it hurts.
He now wonders why he can't have an emotional support dog to help him with his depression.
I'm really confused. It's a simple request.
Support dogs are different than service dogs because they don't need to be a certain age or need to be trained. He says a support dog would help his recovery process, allowing him to exercise and focus on time with the dog since he isn't able to work.
I have to have, responsibility and do stuff on my own, and this would be a good step on the way to doing that.
Holksevig is frustrated that his request was denied because he says Golden Living takes in dogs and other animals, but doesn't follow their own pet policy.
They make all these rules and regulations, and then they can pick and choose which ones they want.
However, because Nellie is 7 weeks old, Golden Living said no, because a puppy isn't potty trained and is considered noisy.
They can't have both sides. I mean, they can't have a pet policy and then not enforce it. Because that's just not fair.
Golden Living was the only nursing facility without a waiting list. If Holksevig could, he says he wouldn't be there.
I'd gladly go someplace else.
In the meantime, Holksevig realizes that Nellie will need to go to another home in Moorhead.
You just got to accept things that you can't, that you can't change. She's going to make somebody a wonderful Christmas present, I imagine.
Christine Stanwood, Valley News Live.
No one at Moorhead's Golden Living facility would go on camera and talk about the request. However, corporate Golden Living says they support Holksevig and his desire to have a pet, but can only accommodate other companion animals and pets for short supervised visits. They say they offer a pet therapy program with trained animals, but can't allow for companion animals and pets at the Living Center. Now, if you need help uncovering an issue in your community, here's some advice. Call our whistleblower hotline. The phone number is there on your screen, 701-237-6576, and leave your tip.
Admitting Syrian refugees to the United States is front and center in political races. And today, former State Department and top Homeland Security officials teamed up to answer questions related to the much criticized refugee screening process. Former Secretary of State Madeleine Albright began by denouncing the House-passed American Safe Act of 2015. Then it was Deputy Secretary of Homeland Security Alejandro Mayorkas's turn. Now, Mayorkas has been criticized and investigated by his own agency, accused of playing political favorites while in charge of a controversial visa program. Mayorkas laid out in little detail the refugee screening process, but it was the comments by FBI Director James Comey that had reporters buzzing.
I think that's the challenge we're all talking about, is that we can only query against that which we have collected. And so if someone has never made a ripple in the pond in Syria in a way that would get their identity or their interests reflected in our database, we can query our database till the cows come home, but we're not going to, there'll be nothing show up because we have no record on that person.
Mayorkas says Comey referenced gaps in the vetting process that he perceived to be existing, adding that the screening process has included additional database checks for Syrian and Iraqi refugees already. To get the full story, we have it online for you. Just head to valleynewslive.com.
It's one of the largest districts in Fargo and yet one of the smallest turnouts for a neighborhood crime safety meeting to date. Only 8 people sat down to listen to police officers in Fargo that patrol their West District area, everything west of I-29. Aggravated assaults are #1 for police calls, which they attribute to drug and alcohol abuse. Their primary concerns are preventing home and garage burglaries, thefts from vehicles, and increasing traffic. Fargo police say overall crime is up from a year ago.
We're 8% up. Not a good number, but when you take into account how much the population, traffic, and business in this district has increased this last year, it's kind of in line with it.
Fargo police offered a message to all on helping to reduce crime. Lock up everything, leave a front light on, and never hesitate to call if you see anything suspicious.
The Barnes County North School District held a meeting tonight as they began the search for a new superintendent. And parents are also moving forward with a petition for a recall election of Chairwoman Lori Carlson. Carlson told News Dakota Now the claim made by parents that the board is micromanaging actually stems from a landscaping project where they say the board saved the taxpayers money. And in response to the parents' claims of an arrogant board, she says she doesn't know how to respond to that, which the parents say proves their point.
She has tried to minimize what's going on and maybe misdirect what the issues are, rather than talking to us and finding out what we have, or what the problems are, the issues that we have. And we've decided that we do want to move forward with a recall of her. We've got the sponsors to be able to do that, and we're going to move forward with a petition.
Parents hope to get the petition circulated within the coming weeks. We'll update you on any new developments.